Step into the vibe, let me tell you what's real.
In the shadows and the light, there's power to feel.
Voices of Abba, bringing wisdom like gold.
We won't let the stories of our lives go untold. Change is a whisper that you can't ignore. The future's a heartbeat, it's knocking at the door. Every lesson learned, every truth that we find, with purpose in our steps and the world in our mind.
We're standing on truth, knowledge is our.
Joining us today is New York State Assemblyman Noah Burroughs and your host, Terrell Huddleston.
You're listening to the Voices of Abba, where we stand on truth, share knowledge, and act with purpose. The future is the moment after now, and that's when change begins. Today, you're here with Terrell Huddleston, the new Executive Director of Abba Leadership Center. I'm sitting here with New York State Assemblyman Noah Burroughs. For those who may not be familiar with your work, can you share what inspired you to purpose with public service?
So I think, at times as a kid, you never know what your true path is. But for me, I've always had parents that were key pivotal role in everything that I did along with my siblings. They guided us in so many different ways. And, like most children, I think you follow in the path of your parents. So as a young kid, I grew up with stories that my dad told me about, him being involved in civil rights at 14 years old. And, I thought what he had done, we had got a lot of the advances. We had seen a lot of progressive movement that we needed. And I thought we were moving in the right direction. And then around 15, 16 years old, I started to see that things weren't the same. But, like most kids, I had my own path that I wanted to go down a different journey first. As I got older, things that my parents instilled in me to begin to come to the forefront, and that's community service and, trying to make sure your community was in the best position possible. So, community advocacy, being an educator, it's those are the things, those are the ways that I've sort of give back early on. And later on, I just saw the list of the bullpen, per se, the people who would probably take the reins as the next elected official in my community. And I didn't think they could do what the community needed, and I didn't think they had the best interest of the community. So I was almost pushed to do it, said, if not me, then someone's gonna do it, and we're gonna continue to stay in this rat race that we're in, or a situation where the community is not best served by the leadership. So, I felt like, I had to do it because I consistently saw, started locally in Hempstead, Hempstead just going in a direction that I wasn't happy with. And so there is where I saw the initial push that I could do good. And so that's where I got started.
Okay. Another question I want to ask you, what are some of the biggest challenges you are currently seeing in the communities you represent?
Yeah, so the biggest issue right now is ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. They come in, we face it, they come in and the words that people are using today to describe the inhumanity that they're showing towards any of our, undocumented or people who are going through the legal process of becoming an immigrant, of becoming a citizen. They're sending these people back to the countries that they originated and foregoing their due process. They're not giving them an opportunity to legally have themselves situated here. And so ICE is a major issue. There's a lot of businesses that are suffering because of it, because people are no longer patronizing. They're afraid to leave their homes. I know a good group of people that are afraid to leave their homes and haven't left their homes. They haven't gone to work in months. So not only is it affecting the local economy, it's affecting the global economy, because people don't realize undocumented individuals still pay taxes when they work here.
Right.
If you have a job and you're on, you get a check, there's taxes that are collected from there,
right,
which goes towards our community, which a lot of people don't understand. So ICE is a huge issue. the collaboration with some governmental agencies is another issue, and we're looking at the state level to try to make sure we could make it as easy as possible for people to understand that they do have rights, and letting them know what their rights are.
I think that's big that you brought that up because we've shared some of that experience as well with our events being predominantly Hispanic. A lot of times, we've seen a decline in those attendances as well. To your point, many residents they want to work but struggle to find direction. What do you see as the biggest barrier for employment right now?
Okay, employment barriers vary, but and it varies. I'll use the word vary, mixed. Those are some of the issues that hinder us. You have some people that may have the education, or some that don't have the education, but they lack the resources to get the education, and so they never had the opportunity to be employed in a specific field that they may have been trying to attain. Some lack the credentials, like I said, they weren't able to go to college, and then the economic base of having a structure of having the ability to hire the community, having, you could look at it from so many different ways. You could talk about even having a Starbucks, right? Starbucks is a base of employment. If you were to hire someone and they didn't have certain credentials to be able to even work at a Starbucks, or just for Starbucks to be able to exist. Starbucks only exists in communities that are mid-range AMI. Because if they're not able to patronize the Starbucks can't hire the community where they are serving. So that's one of the issues that we face. But a lot of it is lack of resources, government resources. A lot of it is a lack of education and training. So it's a combination of a lot of different things. And it's not an easy way to fix it, but there is a way to fix it. We have to start at the governmental steps.
Okay, that goes right into my next question. How important a community-based organization in helping close that gap between residents and job opportunities?
Community-based organizations, to me, are the foundation because they understand the people better than others.
On the ground.
Yeah, so I'm a part of what's called the Black Legislative Task Force, and what we've been charged with is trying to assist the local agencies that are trying to help the community become employed. Or so we've granted them funds to be able to exist, to be able to pay for their staff, to be able to pay for a lot of the tools and techniques that you guys may use to have businesses that thrive.
How would one get access to that? Not to cut your wisdom, but...
No, so last year we had the first round. It was the first time that we ever secured it. We were able to secure $30 million. And I can tell you this, I did have Abba on the list. I did send out to Abba. I believe they may have submitted the application. If you guys did it or not, it was late. But there are a lot of organizations locally that have gotten some money from that call. So there's another series that we're going. We're in budget negotiation now. Once we get 30, we're pushing for $90 million. I'll go around with the application. I'll have town halls and let people know that this money, these funds are available and what it's available for.
Okay. What's the digital access in regards to like what website they would go on to like stay on top of that? You know what I mean?
So I like to have a personal form of communication. Sometimes it's phone calls, but I'll send it out.
I heard that. Call them directly.
I'll send it out via email. It'll also be on my website.
Okay.
You go to my website, you'll see it on there. I'll post it on all my phones.
What's the website? Say it so that people could hear it in real time.
My website is Burroughs at nyassembly.gov. Okay. It'll be on that website.
All right.
It'll also be on my social media, which is Burroughs18NY, and also on my Facebook, Noah Burroughs. It's on all those platforms. I'm not sure when we'll make it live, but when it is live, we usually submit it around June, July, so around that time, and it'll be available. But I was very pleased to see that there were some organizations from within my district, from Hempstead, from Freeport, from Union, that they did secure funds. So I want to see that we can continue to get that fund allocated to people in my community.
Yeah, that's definitely big.
Yeah.
My next question is, what role should local government play in supporting workforce development at the community level? I know one of the ways you said was funding.
Yeah, so to structurally correct some of the issues that we have, a lot of it has to go back to education. And when I say that, you're talking to a former educator, 21-year educator. So I understand how people are made available to knowledge, and a lot of times some go find it on their own, but the majority of people learn from school, no matter what it is. They learn, how to be a lawyer from school. They get their interest peaks if they wanted to be a nurse from school.
Right.
And that founding, that base, it comes from school. You have to do the same thing when it comes to workforce. You implement that into schools, and then kids have the ability to learn about it. So I think we need to go back to what we used to do. We had a lot of, technical careers, trades, the things of those natures that we had in schools. Even in the junior high school level, I remember when I was in the 7th grade, it was something that was called home and career. And I taught you how to prepare food.
Yeah.
It was another phase of it where it showed you, some parenting skills. And in the high school, there was other trades where it was mechanical, electrical,
Coloring.
coloring, all these things where you get that base. It should start at school, and then the funding should come from the government. The funding, whether it be to go to technical school or to go to college, because everyone doesn't want to go to college. I know that.
Yeah.
I have kids that I had to fight with them just for them to do the bare minimum, knowing that once they were done with high school, they weren't going to go to college. They weren't interested in it.
Right.
So we have to make sure that we cater to those kids as well. Not just
create pathways outside of just school.
Everything is an
Career,
academic.
Trades. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. How critical are alternative education pathways, such as like GED programs for economic mobility?
Yeah. So again, it's just like what I just said. Mixed educational opportunities you need to have, because there's different learners.
Right.
Some learn through visuals, some learn through audio, some learn through actually hands-on.
Right.
So as long as you're catering to the different modalities of which people learn, you're able to connect with different people on a grander scale, as opposed to thinking that you just have one pool. So if you have vocational, if you have educational, and then you have opportunities for people to actually go out there and perform these jobs through internships and things of that nature, you give kids an opportunity to really develop and see what they want to do.
Yeah, I think it's definitely big to be able to have options, and be able to create pathways for all options. What types of educational or job readiness initiatives do you believe make the greatest impact locally?
It depends on what you wanted to do. For me, I think the biggest thing for anybody would always be to have the opportunity to have some sort of an internship.
Right.
I know people that they thought they wanted a career path when they actually got involved in it in college.
Because you don't know till you know.
Yeah, they change their majors, or they find another career path to go down. So I think the biggest thing to me is the ability to have an internship. If you don't have an internship, you don't know if you're really cut out to do that or if you'll like it.
Right. And life is about, experiencing things. And like you said, you don't know what you like until you actually got a chance to try it and see it. So that's definitely big. How open is county to partnering with grassroots organizations that already work directly with the residents?
I don't know if that's a trick question based on who we are, but the levels of government in Nassau County is not, it's really, it's divided.
Okay.
Let's just say that. I could personally have a good relationship with the electeds at the county level on the other side of the aisle, but politically, we're so disconnected. We get no resources from them. So everything that we've begun to get within my assembly district, it's been through the state the governor,
Okay.
or we had a fight at the county level and force them to do things. The town, I can tell you absolutely nothing, with the exception of some of the hamlets. They do have to take care of these hamlets, but for example, like Roosevelt, there's a downtown district which exemplifies that we're living in 1936.
Yeah.
That downtown area needs to be revitalized. It's not anything that you would identify as a downtown area. There's some other good components of what they do in Roosevelt, but there's some things that they need to work on as well. So at the town and the county level, it's completely antiquated. Outside of the county Democratic legislators, that's the only partnership that I could say I have.
Right.
On the other side, it's really too difficult,
So a lot of it is based on building solid relationships and trying to navigate through those loopholes.
Correct.
Essentially. What does a strong partnership between local government and community organizations look like to you?
Teamwork. So, one of my prior careers, everything was based on relationships and teamwork. If you had 5 individuals and they all had a specific role, if one failed, then the entire team failed.
Right.
So I'm used to that model. I think it works best. Even as an assembly person, I don't look at myself, and I always tell people this, I'm not the person that you think gets everything done. I get things done because I have a team. Right? The team is even, the community. So in some ways I need the community's help. In other ways I may need my staff to help. In other ways I may need community organizations to help. So once you combine that entire role as a team and everybody understands their role, that's the way to get things done. It's never to get things done on your own.
Yeah, creating a system. If you could implement one initiative tomorrow to expand opportunity in Nassau County, what would it be?
Parity. I think we need true diversity at the county level, at the town level. I think home ownership is an issue. If we could really make it fair and equitable, I think you would see a lot of things work themselves out. And parts, you go a little east, Nassau County is a little odd. It's where you go, it's minority, majority.
Yeah.
And the two never intersect. And I think that's an issue based on the way that Long Island was constructed. It was constructed to be segregated. It was constructed to be, in a sense, racist. It was constructed to be divisive and give certain people the ability to have generational wealth as opposed to others, minorities, just sit and waller and figure out a way to get out of this situation. So to me, I think equity would be something that would be the first thing that I would want to do.
Right.
To be honest with you, I think we need to move some of our housing east to make it more equitable, because there's not a lot of diversity in some of those towns the further east you go.
What message would you like to share with young people who may feel limited in their opportunities? So I know we talked about it on the higher level, but what are the day-to-day people that want to get jobs and opportunities? Like, what was some suggestions you would have for them?
Well, like I said before, first you have to figure out what it is that you really enjoy. And sometimes part of that is being realistic. You can't want a career, but you yourself aren't career ready. You're not prepped. You're not, someone who can hold a job. You're not on time. You don't speak the proper way at work. Those are the things you have to do, go through a workforce development process to say, hey, I've gone through this process. Now I'm probably more ready for a career. But once you know what your career choice is, you feel comfortable that you want to do it. Now you have to work on securing whatever it is you need to accomplish that goal. If it's education, there are many opportunities for people to go to school free, or especially now if you're between 25 and 45, you can go to a community college for free, or a SUNY school for free. So that's one of the moves that we fought hard And we got the governor to actually say that this is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
So between 25 and 45, if you want a college degree, you can go to a SUNY school for free.
Oh, that's big.
So, like I said, it's figuring out what you want to do, and then actually being realistic with yourself, and then go through the process to accomplish that goal, however you see fit.
Okay. How can what should viewers do if they want to get involved in improving their community?
Well, I think so. I say this a lot, and I think young people don't understand it until they get a little older. There's nothing you can do at all that does not encompass politics or government.
Sure.
So I think civically, if you become more engaged in all the civics that are around in their communities, get involved and do the little things that it requires for you to be successful, or even for you to hold your local elected officials accountable.
That part, accountability.
Yeah, that could just be showing up at meetings. There are events where free items are given. Those events are usually where you see the most amount of people.
Right.
But if there's a meeting where we're giving information on what processes may take place, or possibly some legislation that may be on the floor that they could vote, that's when it's not that the attendance isn't so well.
So they got to get more involved in the intangibles,
Yes.
not just the tangibles.
Yes, when we have events, if it's free food or it's free items, everyone shows up. But if we're giving information on legislation, it's like a little iffy. So you gotta, work on understanding that getting involved is how you get, you change things.
Yeah. Thank you. I want to thank you for coming today. If you could just, let the people know again your website, and where they can contact you, and then where they can find out more information to empower themselves in any way possible. Just take a second and give them that.
Yeah. So my assembly website is burroughsin@nyassembly.gov. My Facebook is Noah Burroughs. My Instagram is Burroughs18NY, and those are the methods to conform. You could also call my office at 516-489-6610. Call my office, leave a message, schedule an appointment, and those are all the means and methods to how to communicate with me.
Well, we thank you for coming today. This has been Voices of Abba. The moment you choose is the moment you become. So let's choose change now.
Step into the vibe, let me tell you what's real.
In the shadows and the light, there's power to feel.
Voices of Abba bringing wisdom like gold.
We won't let the stories of our lives go untold. Change is a whisper that you can't ignore. The future's a heartbeat, it's knocking at the door. Every lesson learned, every truth that we find, with purpose in our steps and the world in our mind.
We're standing on true knowledge.